Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the BFNL Footy Show for another week, the penultimate home and away edition of the season, and only a couple of weeks to go now, of course, until we get smack bang into the McDonald's 2016 final series. Shaun Kelly's my name, and no, that's not Liam Brady next to me. AFL Goldfields Commercial and Regional Operations Manager Aaron Nunn joins us this week. Nunny, well, your Footy Show debut for the season, mate. Saving the best till last.
It is, mate. Filling in for Bray's got big shoes to fill. He told me that the viewership is probably going to drop a couple of notches, which is understandable. He's a very handsome young man.
So he tells us.
But, I don't expect to fill his shoes too much, but I'll do my best.
Tell us a little bit, I suppose, before we start with the Footy Show, about what your year's been doing this year. Obviously, with the change of role, not being the BFL Operations Manager as you have for many years before this year. What's your year consisted of so far?
It's been a challenging year, mate, to say the least, with a lot of staff changes and, obviously tackling a new role. But it's been enjoyable, mate. It's been great to branch out into the other two leagues that we obviously administer. It's had its challenges, but it's been good fun.
Good to hear. That's the main thing. Let's jump straight into the talking points for this week, because talking point number one, it seems to be that this is becoming a regular occurrence in this league now, and it's fantastic to see the fact that we're 2 weeks out from the start of the finals, and really, we've got no idea how this ladder's going to look, because every position in the top six is still up for grabs.
Yeah, it's a credit to all the clubs, mate, and all the hard work they obviously put into their preparation prior to the season, and then obviously during the course of the year as well. We're very proud of the competition that we've been able to create in the Ballarat Football Netball League, not just in the senior footy comp, but it filters right down through into the reserves, the under-18s, and across all the netball competitions as well. There's a lot of great work being done by clubs, and it's really exciting when we get to rounds like this, and like you said, we're 2 rounds out from the final series, and we've got no idea who's actually going to make up the top 6 and what positions in the top 6 everyone's going to have as well. So, we've got teams at the moment that are vying for that third spot at the moment that, is obviously a really good point to finish in. But I'll tell you what, you wouldn't want to be coming up against a team like a Melton, for example, who have come into some really good form, and they're playing some great footy against some good clubs that they just can't quite get over the line. But if they sneak into that 6th position, I wouldn't want to be playing them in the first final. And then you got East Point as well, and
correct,
and obviously Darley, if they get some players back, we've seen what they can do in a final series as well. So. It's pretty exciting, and we're really looking forward to the next few weeks. Definitely
a big couple of rounds coming up. The ladder you saw on the screen just now as well, as you can see, still a chance for Sunbury North City to finish in second spot, obviously, if results go their way, with Lake Wendouree playing back a smash in the last round. Obviously, third spot still very much up for grabs, and of course very desired. And you saw the race for 6th spot that we'll talk about very shortly as well, because in that 6th spot you can still see there's still 3 teams vying for the mix. One of those is East Point. Really breathed some life back into that finals race on the weekend with a much-needed win over Ballarat.
Yeah, definitely. It was good to see Hayden Walters back in the side on the weekend too. He played some reasonable footy. He's obviously a bit out of touch with the long-term injury that he's had, but it was great to see him back. East Point, probably I wouldn't say it was their best game on the weekend. They came up against a very young, inexperienced Ballarat side who knocked them off at the start of the year.
They did, and had been playing good footy in the weeks before.
Definitely. They were obviously keen to get that one back on them and stand some authority over that young Ballarat side, and they certainly did that on the weekend. It was a good win.
And I suppose looking at the game on Sunday as well, when we're talking about 6th spot, Darley really took it up to North Ballarat City for 3.5 quarters really, and then North City just had too much run in the end for them.
Yeah, they did. And look, Darley's been ravaged by injury this year. They've lost some very good quality players out of that side, and look, they obviously had still a little bit of experience in the Steve Kennedys and the Mitch Banners and the like that obviously played some good footy in patches across the course of the season that are still dangerous players that can will their side to a win. And we saw that a couple of weeks ago when Darley obviously knocked off ladder leaders Lake Wendouree in an upset win. But look, it's been a long season for the Devils, and if they sneak into 6, I think that'd be a good result for them.
Yeah, I think so as well. Talking point number 3, though, going to change tack a little bit here and talk about one of the biggest days on the BFL calendar every year, the Junior Round Robin and Lightning Premiership, one of your favourite days for the year, as I know, having worked alongside you for the 3 years at this event. Tell us about what's happening this weekend at Wendouree and Northern Oval number 2.
Yeah, it's another exciting element's been added to it this year, obviously, with our third under-10 competition. So we've got our under-10 development teams that are going to participate on the day as well. And obviously we've got all the teams putting 2 sides in with the netball competition as well. So a really great way for our under-10 footballers and our 11 and under netballers to sign the year off, because obviously they don't get a final series. It's all about participation. It's all about the kids getting in and having a go. And
Yep.
It would be great to see all the parents and the grandparents there on Sunday to sign off another great year of BFNL junior footy for those kids.
Tell us a little bit about the details. Obviously, Wendouree Reserve, Northern Oval number 2. Is there a gate charge? What time do they start getting there for the first game, etc., etc.?
Yeah, there is a gate charge. That's an annual thing for this event. So obviously families need to be aware of that. First games I think kick off at 9 a.m. So there's obviously 8 grounds spread across the 3 ovals, and obviously the 2 netball courts will be in operation all day as well. So go to the BFL website. There is a news article on there that has the fixture listed, and you'll be able to see all the start times for each of the games.
Fantastic work. And then on the events front, a big week coming up next week, in particular with 2 of the BFL's major events for the year. Firstly, on Wednesday night, the Robert Allen Medal, the Junior Best and Fairest night at the Mercure, and then on the Friday night, a new venue this year, the Ballarat District Trotting Club, is the Youth Girls Presentation Night as well. And both of those events shaping up to be very, very special this year.
Yeah, definitely. I love the junior events. They're my favourite nights of the year, and you get along there, and everyone is vibrant and really looking forward to the night. And obviously we get around 600 people to the Robert Allen Medal every year, and I think we're one of the biggest awards nights in the state. So it's a credit to the clubs to get behind those events, and obviously youth girls as well, to have a 12-team competition, and we're probably going to get around 300 or 400 people in a room. Just for
numbers are looking maybe bigger than that as well, from early indication.
Yeah, so look, it's going to be a great night. We're really looking forward to it, and to both nights, and it's a great way again to celebrate what's been another fantastic season in junior football and netball as well. So it's been great.
And then junior finals not far away as well, which of course is really starting next week. You've got probably a solid month coming up.
Yeah, it's come around really quick, and we're pretty fortunate this year. You have a look at some of the competitions across our junior grades in both football and netball, and we've got some cracking finals.
Yeah.
In particular, the under 16.5 senior competition this year, it's been as close as we've ever had it. So any one of the top 6 teams can win it.
That's fantastic to hear. Let's change it back into senior footy now and have a look at round 17 this weekend in the BFL senior competition. And we'll start it off with the last game for the season for the Melton South Footy Club, who have the bye in round 18, ending the season the same way they started it, taking on Darley.
Yeah, it's Melton South. I think the finish line couldn't come quick enough for them. They've had a very tough year. They've obviously lost a lot of experience out of this side over the last couple of seasons, but having said that, obviously the club's done really well to work with the young list that they've had. It has been challenging, but I'm sure if they can keep this group together, they've got some great kids that have obviously come out of their under 18 side into this team. They're very young, they're very green, but when they start to get 50 plus games into these kids and they start to hang around and stick with the club,
they're going to see the benefits.
Oh mate, they're going to start to rise up the ladder, and I have full confidence in the club to be able to turn things around very quickly. And look, all they need to do is just add a couple of senior hard-nosed players to that lineup, and they've got a great nucleus for a pretty good team that's going to obviously compete in the next few years.
Senior-wise though, tough for them to go out on a winning note this week, coming up against the Darley side that still have the 6th spot in their sights and will be doing everything they can to obviously not just win this game, but to boost percentage as well, because if it comes down to percentage, amongst the 3 teams vying for that 6th spot at the moment, Darley have the worst percentage by a little bit.
Yeah, and look, it depends on which Darley turns up, mate. Because if the Darley of the round 14 and 15 clashes against Bacchus Marsh and Redan respectively turn up, then Melton South are in with a chance to win this game. But obviously, if the Darley that played North City on the weekend turn up, they'll be difficult to beat, because they did play some really good footy.
They did
last Sunday against a side that is going to have a tilt at another premiership this year in North Ballarat City. So. Look, I think Darley will get over the line. I think, just the season has been very long and drawn out for Melton South, and they'll be looking forward to obviously going out on a high note. But I think Darley should get over the line in this one.
Lake Wendouree taking on Sebastopol at the Wendouree Reserve this weekend. The Lakers coming back to a bit of form last week, freshened up, and all of a sudden look like the Lakers team that have been so dominant this year. Yeah,
big news today that Steve Clifton will probably miss 1, maybe 2 matches with a bit of a cheekbone problem. So that'll be a big loss for them, because Cliffo's just had a wonderful season. He's such a good leader and such a good player. But they'll certainly miss him. But I think they should still obviously be good enough to get over Sebastopol, who have been really good in the last few weeks. Obviously had their best season for a number of years now, chalking up the 3 wins. And look, that's what it's all been about for Snibbo and his crew, is to try and knock off a couple of little goals along the way, and they've certainly done that this year. And I think next year is when you'll start to see them make a big move. They're obviously getting those 50 to 75 games into those young players, like we spoke about with Melbourne South. They're going to come along again in leaps and bounds next year, and I'm sure they'll be probably having a crack at the top 6 in the next 12 months, which would be great to see. But look, Lake Wendouree got their season back up and running again last weekend. I think this is the game that'll probably will sew up the top 2 finish for them this year, and then they've got a big game against Bacchus Marsh, who they're likely to play 2 weeks in a row, heading into a final series.
They do indeed. Bacchus Marsh warm up for that game this week with a trip down to Ballarat to take on the Swans at Alfredton Oval, and big task for the young Swannies coming up against the Bacchus Marsh side that have looked very good this year, but also Bacchus Marsh know that they need to keep winning this game because they're not 100% safe in second spot just yet, especially taking on the Lakers next week. So you'd imagine that they'll come full of everything this week.
They will, and I just want to say how great it is to see the Marsh up towards the top of the ladder.
It is.
They've had
fantastic.
Such a long history in the BFL in the last 15 years of being thereabouts, but not being able to get to break into that top 6. And Trav Hodgson and the crew have done a sensational job this year to obviously get them into what's looking like a top 2 finish, which is great for the club. It's great for the town, and it's going to be fantastic to see them line up in the finals. But yeah, Ballarat, they're going to be up against it. They won this corresponding game last year to actually dash the hopes of Bacchus Marsh playing in their first final series.
I remember that.
Don't think that they're going to have a similar result this week, just given the last few weeks that the Swannies have put in. But again, they're side Ballarat. They've got quite a lot of promise, and talking to their president Darren Fraser over the last couple of weeks, it looks like they're going to retain a majority of their players heading into next year and then build on that moving forward. And can we just say too, congratulations to Ash Baker.
I was going to mention that.
Yeah, obviously an ex-teammate and captain of mine. Super, obviously involvement with the club. He is a legend of the club, and congratulations, Bakes, on everything that you've obviously achieved in your tenure as coach of the Ballarat Footy Club.
And as we know, those that missed the news last week, Ash Baker has announced that this will be his last season coaching at the Ballarat Footy Club, so the Swans will be on the hunt for a coach, and not too many more decorated players in the Ballarat Footy Club. And of course, who can forget, and we'll put it on the screen for your benefit this week, Nunny, that kick after the siren in the 2008 Grand Final.
Yeah, it was a great day. Gary Learmont, who works in the office here now,
doesn't want to see it.
He hates me for bringing it up, and I don't blame him. Look, it was a fantastic highlight of all of our careers, and something we'll never forget.
Fantastic highlight of that clip is as soon as that ball goes through, the kid that just face plants jumping over the fence as well. Every time I see that, don't fail to laugh. 2 massive games this weekend, starting up at Clark Oval. The new rooms in use this weekend for the Sunbury Footy Club as they take on North Ballarat City. Winner of this game, you could just about say almost locks away a top 3 position.
Yeah, this is one of those genuine 50-50 games. Obviously, last time they played, Sunbury got off to a great start and they got overrun by a very fit and fast North Ballarat City side. North Ballarat City have been playing some really good football in the last month. They've obviously knocked off Lake Wendouree, Redan, and a couple of highly fancied sides. Their running game is really starting to get going. They've obviously got the coach Jordan Burke back into the team after his suspension a couple of weeks ago. They're playing some really good footy. They've had their injury concerns too, obviously with Ryan Hobbs and I think it's Josh Bromley-Lynch who's been ruled out for the season, which is not great news, but they've just been able to cover him with young kids coming into that side.
And some players like Daniel Kilpatrick coming back in the last couple of weeks as well.
Simon Caleb's playing some great footy.
Simon McCartan moving more permanent forward as well. It's really dangerous. And of course, Ryan Luke's having a fantastic season off half-back as well.
Their biggest question mark, I think, is going to be their depth. If they do get a couple of injuries in these last couple of rounds, I'm not sure they're going to be able to cover those players. But
good point.
And look, on Sunbury front, Grant Vallis out this week as well, which is a big loss for the Sunbury Footy Club. He's been fantastic for them all year. He's been a great recruit. But look, they're starting to get their season rolling, and I think at home, I would probably just tip Sunbury, but I think we're talking single digit either way in this game.
Tough to beat at home, and especially with the form of some of the Sunbury running brigade as well. Alec Megan in his first year in the league has been an absolute sensation.
Yep.
Good to see that one. And then at the Eastern Oval this weekend, possibly the game that could determine 6th spot on the ladder, as well as East Point take on Melton. No love lost between these two teams in the slightest as well. And a huge carrot being dangled in front of the winner of this game. Can Melton win the game, which will just about probably see them hang on to 6th spot. They play North Ballarat City in the last round, though. Or can East Point, who are a game behind at the moment, leapfrog Melton on the ladder and go into a last round game against Sebastopol, knowing that all they need to do is win, basically, to finish in the finals?
I like Melton in this one. I just like the way they've been going about their business the last couple of weeks. I think they're playing some really good footy. And if the Melton of the last couple of weeks can obviously travel to the Eastern Oval place and play that same style of footy, I think they'll get over the line against East Point, because it's been one of those seasons where East Point have had a lot of missed opportunities. They dropped games that they probably would have expected to win at the start of the season, and I just think that this is the best opportunity that Melton's going to have to obviously launch into that top 6 spot. And like I said at the start of the show, if they continue to play the way they have been over the last couple of weeks, you wouldn't want to get them in that first final as well. So
got within a goal of Bacchus Marsh last week and probably should have won the game. Got within a goal of Lake Wendouree a few weeks ago, probably should have won that game as well. Obviously a very difficult team. If they finish in 6th spot, just need to make sure they come with the right mindset this week.
Absolutely. And look, it's about continuity of everything that Melton's been building on over the last couple of years. Obviously last year we had a little bit of instability with Brad deciding whether he was going to go on or whether he wasn't going to go on, but with Murph obviously committing to this year and giving
for
it
next
everything,
year as well, been re-signed already.
That's great news for the club, and obviously we've got Jamo on board too to obviously help out in the coaching structures. It's been obviously provided the club with a lot of stability, and look, you can certainly see them moving forward next year and probably launching into a top 6 spot as well. I think I've got about 9 clubs finishing in the 6th next year.
I was going to say, you've done that quite well. You're going to have to expand it to a top 8 next year just to fit everybody in, as the fan club was knocking on the door trying to get in and get Aaron Nunn's autograph, because he's done a fantastic job as the co-host on the Footy Show this week. Nunny, great to have you on board, and hopefully it's not the last time for the year.
Thanks, mate. Been a lot of fun.
Has indeed. It's been fun having you joining us as well, as always, on the BFNL Footy Show. Just one more after this before we kick it off with some huge finals editions. We'll see you then.